Hello everyone and welcome back to Cute Crochet. My name is Sri and in today's video I am going to show you how to crochet this adorable Santa Claus amigurumi ornament. It's super easy to make and will be the perfect addition to your Christmas tree. In my next video I am also planning to make a body for him, so you'll also have the option to stand him up beside your tree. To make this you'll need skin color yarn, red yarn, white yarn and a tiny bit of pink yarn. You'll need some stuffing to stuff the amigurumi. You'll need some 4mm safety eyes, and for tools you're going to need a crochet hook, a yarn needle, something to use as a stitch marker and a pair of scissors. So let's get started. For the head I am using this beige yarn. This is a 4-ply yarn and with it I am going to use a 3mm crochet hook, which is a couple of sizes smaller than what is recommended for this yarn. It's actually recommended to use a 4mm hook with this. We do this so that our stitches are nice and tight and none of the stuffing shows through. We are going to start by making a magic circle. To do that, wrap your yarn up and over your finger like so, forming a cross in the front. Then insert your hook underneath the cross. Take the yarn from the other side and pull through. Then again yarn over and pull through the loop on your hook. Now remove this loop from your finger and this is the magic circle that we are going to work into. Start by making a chain 1. This chain 1 does not count as a stitch. Then we are going to make 6 single crochets into the magic circle. To make a single crochet, insert your hook into the magic circle and pull up a loop. You will have 2 loops on your hook like this. Yarn over and pull through the 2 loops and that finishes 1 single crochet. Let's do it again. Insert your hook into the magic circle and pull up a loop. 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through 2. Now we are going to make 4 more single crochets like this for a total of 6 single crochets. After you finish making 6 single crochets, you can pull on this tail to cinch the magic circle completely closed, and this brings us to the end of round 1. At the end of round 1, we have 6 single crochets. This amigurumi is going to be worked in continuous rounds, so we need to mark the last stitch of the round. For that I am using a paper clip here, but you can use anything. You can use a yarn in a different color or you can also get proper stitch markers. Round 2 is an increase round. For this round, we are going to increase in each stitch all the way around. An increase is simply placing 2 single crochets into one stitch. So, go into that first single crochet and make 1 single crochet. Then make 1 more single crochet into that same stitch, and that is our increase stitch. Again, into the next stitch, place 2 single crochets. Now into the remaining 4 stitches of the round, make increases, that is 2 single crochets into the same stitch. When you reach the last stitch of the round, remove the stitch marker and place 2 single crochets into that stitch as well. This brings us to the end of round 2. At the end of round 2, you will have 12 single crochets. Go ahead and mark the new last stitch of the round. For round 3, we are going to increase into every alternate stitch. So, into that first stitch, make a single crochet. Then into the next stitch, 2 single crochets. Then into the next stitch, 1 single crochet, then increase. Continue repeating like this. Single crochet, increase, single crochet, increase, single crochet, increase all the way around. Once you reach the last stitch, remove the stitch marker and place 2 single crochets into it. Go ahead and mark the new last stitch of the round. At the end of round 3, you will have 18 single crochets. For round 4, we are going to increase in every third stitch, but we are going to stagger our increases, otherwise the piece starts to become hexagonal. So start by making 1 single crochet into that first stitch. Then in the next stitch, increase. Then make 1 single crochet into the next 2 stitches. Then increase in the next stitch. We are going to repeat this sequence of 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches and then increase all the way around until you reach the last stitch. We are going to repeat this sequence a total of 5 times. Here I am at the last stitch of the round. Remove the stitch marker and place 1 single crochet into it, and this will finish the first sequence. Since we made 1 single crochet and increase to start, this single crochet will make it 2 single crochet then increase. Replace the stitch marker, and this brings us to the end of round 4. At the end of round 4, you'll have 24 single crochets. For round 5, we are going to make 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way around, keeping the stitch count constant at 24. I am going to finish this and meet back up with you. Here I am at the last stitch of round 5. Remove the stitch marker, place 1 single crochet into it and then replace the stitch marker. As you can see, your piece will start to curve like this. That's completely normal. We are going to repeat the same thing as round 5 for 4 more rounds. So for round 6, 7, 8 and 9, I am going to finish this and meet back up with you. Here I finished making up to round 9. At this point, we are going to put in the safety eyes before continuing. I like to put the safety eyes on the opposite side of where the yarn tail is. Here I am using 4mm safety eyes. Start counting the rounds from the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to place the eyes in between round 6 and 7. We are going to place the second eye 3 stitches away from the first eye. I like to count these holes in between the stitches. 1, 2, 3. Place the eye in the fourth hole. I am going to put in the safety backings before continuing. From round 10, we are going to start decreasing. Start by making one single crochet into the first stitch. Then into the next 2 stitches, we are going to make an invisible decrease. Let me tell you the difference between a regular decrease and an invisible decrease first. For a regular decrease, we go into the next stitch and pull up a loop like we normally would for a single crochet, but do not complete that stitch. Again, go into the next stitch and pull up a loop. With 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops at the same time, and that finishes a decrease stitch. You'll notice that that stitch looks a bit different than the rest of the stitches and it sticks out. For the invisible decrease, we are going to work into the front loops only. If you look at the stitches carefully, each stitch has a front loop and a back loop. Go under the front loop of the first stitch and then twist your hook around and go under the front loop of the second stitch. Then yarn over and pull up a loop like you normally would for a single crochet. Then yarn over and pull through 2, and that finishes our invisible decrease. You'll notice that that stitch looks the exact same as the rest of the stitches and it blends in much better. In the next stitch, make one single crochet. Then into the next 2 stitches, invisible decrease. Continue repeating this sequence of one single crochet and invisible decrease all the way around. We are going to repeat this sequence 6 more times, so 8 times in total. We are almost at the end of round 10. Remove the stitch marker and decrease in the last 2 stitches. At the end of round 10, you will have 16 single crochets. At this point, we are going to stuff the body. Make sure not to overstuff. For round 11, we are going to invisible decrease into every stitch all the way around. I am placing one finger on top of the stuffing to keep it out of the way. Here I finished making round 11. This was our last round. In the end, you will have 8 stitches. Cut the excess yarn, leaving a long enough tail for sewing, and then fasten off. Then to close up the hole, I am going to weave this tail in and out through the front loops of all of the stitches of this round. Then when you pull on this tail, it should close up the hole nicely. With the help of a yarn needle, bring that tail through the center of the hole and then out through the back of the amigurumi. Leave that yarn tail hanging there for now. For the ears, using the same color yarn as the head, start by making a magic circle. Chain 1 to start and then make 4 single crochets into the magic circle. Then close up the magic circle. Then fasten off, leaving a long enough tail for sewing. You'll need to make 2 of this piece. Next, for the beard, bring in white yarn and start by making a slip knot. Then make 12 chains. Here I finished making 12 chains. Now skip the first chain and into the second chain from the hook make a single crochet. Make 1 single crochet in the next 2 chains. Then in the next chain we are going to make an increase stitch. Again make 1 single crochet in the next 3 chains. In the next chain increase. Then make 1 single crochet in the remaining 3 chains of this row. At the end of row 1, you will have 13 single crochets and your piece will have a slight curve like this. For row 2, turn your work. We are going to skip the first 2 stitches and into the third stitch, we are going to make 5 double crochets. To make a double crochet, yarn over, then go into the third stitch and pull up a loop. You will have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops on your hook. Then again yarn over and pull through the remaining 2. That's our double crochet. Again yarn over, go into the same stitch and pull up a loop. Again you'll have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through 2. Make 3 more double crochets like this in the same stitch. Here I finished making the 5 double crochets. Skip the next stitch and into the next stitch make a slip stitch. This will be one segment of the beard. Now skip the next stitch and into the next stitch after that again make 5 double crochets. After making the 5 double crochets, skip the next stitch and into the next stitch after that make a slip stitch. This will be another segment of the beard. Again skip the next stitch and in the next stitch after that make 5 double crochets. Then skip the next stitch and slip stitch in the last stitch of the row. Now the beard is complete. Fasten off, leaving a long enough tail for sewing. For the moustache, we are again going to use white yarn. Start by making a slip knot. Then chain 3. Into the first chain, we are going to do 2 double crochets together. For that, yarn over. Then go into the first chain and pull up a loop. You will have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops on your hook, but don't complete that stitch. Again yarn over. Go into the same first chain and pull up a loop. You will now have 4 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops. Now you'll have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through all 3 loops at the same time. And that's one half of our moustache done. We are going to repeat the same thing again for the second half. Again chain 3. This time we are going to work in the back loop of that first chain. In that back loop, make 2 double crochets together. This completes our moustache. Now chain 1 and fasten off, leaving a long enough tail for sewing. For the hat, I am going to use red yarn. Start by making a magic circle. Chain 1 to start and then make 6 single crochets into the magic circle. After making the 6 single crochets, cinch the magic circle closed and this brings us to the end of round 1. The hat is going to be worked in continuous rounds, so we need to mark the last stitch of the round. For round 2, we are going to make one single crochet in each stitch all the way around, keeping the stitch count constant at 6. Here I'm at the last stitch of the round. Remove the stitch marker and place one single crochet in that last stitch, and this brings us to the end of round 2. Your work will invariably start to curve in the wrong direction. You can flip it the right way out by pushing on the back using the back of your crochet hook. This is the tip of the Santa hat. Don't forget to mark the new last stitch of the round. For round 3, make one single crochet in that first stitch. In the next stitch, increase. We are going to repeat the sequence 2 more times. Single crochet, then increase. Here I'm at the last stitch of the round. Remove the stitch marker and increase in the last stitch. This brings us to the end of round 3. At the end of round 3, you will have 9 single crochets. Mark the last stitch of the round. For round 4, we are going to make one single crochet in each stitch all the way around, keeping the stitch count constant at 9. Here I finished making round 4. For round 5, make one single crochet in the first 2 stitches. Then in the next stitch, increase. We are going to repeat the sequence 2 more times. One single crochet in the next 2 stitches and then increase. Here I'm at the last stitch of the round. Remove the stitch marker and increase in the last stitch. For this and every other increased round, you will be increasing in the last stitch for the hat. This brings us to the end of round 5. At the end of round 5, you will have 12 single crochets. Go ahead and mark the last stitch of the round. For round 6, make 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way around, keeping the stitch count constant at 12. Here I finished making round 6. For round 7, make 1 single crochet in the first 3 stitches. Then in the next stitch, increase. Repeat the sequence 3 more times. 1 single crochet in the next 3 stitches and then increase. Here I'm at the last stitch of the round. Remove the stitch marker and increase in the last stitch, and this brings us to the end of round 7. At the end of round 7, you will have 15 single crochets. For round 8, we are going to make 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way around, keeping the stitch count constant at 15. Here I'm at the end of round 8. For round 9, make 1 single crochet in the first 4 stitches. Then in the next stitch, increase. We are going to repeat the sequence 2 more times. 1 single crochet in the next 4 stitches and then increase. Here we are at the last stitch of the round. We are increasing. This brings us to the end of round 9. At the end of round 9, you will have 18 single crochets. For round 10, we are going to make one single crochet in each stitch all the way around, keeping the stitch count constant at 18. Here I finished making round 10. For round 11, make one single crochet in the first 5 stitches. Then in the next stitch, increase. We are going to repeat this sequence 2 more times. One single crochet in the next 5 stitches and then increase. Here I am increasing in the last stitch of round 11. At the end of round 11, you will have 21 single crochets. For round 12, make one single crochet in each stitch all the way around, keeping the stitch count constant at 21. Here I am at the end of round 12. For round 13, make one single crochet in the next 6 stitches. Then in the next stitch, increase. We are going to repeat this sequence 2 more times. 1 single crochet in the next 6 stitches and then increase. Here I am increasing in the last stitch of round 13. In the end of round 13, you will have 24 single crochets. This is our last round with our red yarn. So slip stitch in the next stitch and then fasten off, leaving a long enough tail for weaving in. For round 14, we are going to add our white yarn. To join the yarn, wrap it on your crochet hook like so. Then go under the next stitch after the last stitch that we made and make a slip stitch there to join the new yarn. Now you can go ahead and make a round of single crochets normally all the way around. You can work over all the yarn tails at the back as you go. However, I like to make it a bit more fancy, and for that I like to do reverse single crochets. For that the first stitch is the same. Then we are going to start working in the opposite direction of normal. Twist your hook around and insert your hook in the previous stitch. Yarn over and pull up a loop. You will have 2 loops on your hook, but they will be overlapping. Yarn over and pull through these 2 loops, and that's a reverse single crochet. Again twist your hook around and go into the previous stitch. Yarn over and pull up a loop, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through the 2 loops. Continue repeating like this all the way around. This will create a nice fluffy ridged border. If it's possible for you, you can start working over these tails as you go, but if it's too difficult, you can always weave them in later. Here I've gone all the way around. In the end, cut the excess yarn and fasten off. You can tie a knot using these 2 yarn tails and then weave them in. The pom-pom for the hat is very similar to making the moustache. Start by making a slip knot. Chain 3. Then in the first chain, we are going to make 5 double crochets together. This is one half of the pom-pom. Repeat this again. Chain 3 and then 5 double crochets together in the back side of that first chain. After doing that, slip stitch in the very first chain to join. Then cut the excess yarn and fasten off, leaving a long enough tail for tying it on. This should create a nice circular fluffy pom-pom. I am going to attach the pom-pom to the top of the hat using a smaller crochet hook. Come in from the inside to the top of the hat and then pull the yarn tails of the pom-pom through. Then turn the hat inside out. Tie a knot with all the yarn tails on the inside. Then turn your hat the right side out. Your pom-pom should be securely attached. To make the loop of the ornament, I like to take a small length of yarn, then fold it in half and tie a knot at the very end to make a loop. You can attach the loop to the very top of the hat, but I like to fold down the top of my hat a little bit before doing so. After doing that, find out where the center point of the hat will be and then through that stitch, bring that loop from the inside out. I am also going to make a small stitch to tack down the top of the hat. Next, I am going to embroider and sew on the facial features starting with the eyebrows. For that, I have taken some white yarn on my yarn needle, come in through the back of the head and out on top of the eyes in between rounds 5 and 6. Don't pull the yarn all the way through, leave a little bit hanging on the back. Then embroider a couple of stitches on top of the eye, 2 stitches wide. Once one eyebrow is done, move over to the top of the other eye and repeat the same thing. Once both eyebrows are done, come in to the back of the head through the same hole that we came in. You can fiddle around with the shape of your embroidery a little bit, and once you're happy with it, you can secure it by tying a knot using these two yarn tails at the back. Then cut the excess yarn and hide the knot into the body by pushing it in using the back of your yarn needle. Next, I am going to embroider the mouth. For that, I have taken some pink yarn on my yarn needle. We are going to embroider the mouth in between rounds 8 and 9, centering with the eyes. So, right here, we are going to embroider the mouth around this stitch. So, come in through the back of the head and out in between rounds 8 and 9 beside that stitch that we just pointed out. Make a couple of straight across stitches around the stitch to make the mouth. Then again come in through the back of the head through the same hole that we came in. And then secure the embroidery by tying a knot and hiding it into the body. Next we are going to sew on the ears. First you can go ahead and cut this yarn tail of the magic circle. It has been sufficiently woven in. Then take this yarn tail on your yarn needle. We are going to sew the ear 4 stitches away from the eye. So start counting from beside the eye. 1, 2, 3 and 4. We are going to sew the ear on top of round 6 and 7. So right here. Once the ear is sewn on, come in through the base of the ear and out through the back of the head through the same hole as the previous beige yarn tail. Then we are going to repeat the same thing on the other side for the other ear. Then we can tie a knot with all the 3 yarn tails and then hide the knot into the body. Next I'm going to sew on the moustache. Take any one of the yarn tails on your yarn needle. Then we're going to go in between round 7 and 8, one stitch away from the eye. Bring the yarn to the back of the head and pull it out. Repeat the same thing with the other yarn tail on the other side. Then you can tie a knot using these two yarn tails at the back. Next, I'm going to embroider the nose. For that, take the same beige yarn as the face on your yarn needle. Come in through the back of the head and out in between the eyes in between round 6 and 7. Make a straight across stitch 2 stitches wide and then come out through the first hole. Next, we are going to wrap our yarn around this stitch. So simply go under it like so. For the second stitch, we are also going to include this stitch on top of the moustache. So go under both of the stitches and wrap them both like so. Repeat this 2 more times. Then wrap it one last time, just around that one stitch, and then bring that yarn tail to the back. Then secure the embroidery. Next, we are going to sew on the beard. Take any one of the yarn tails on your yarn needle. This yarn tail is a bit down, so bring it up to the top edge of the beard like so. We are going to sew it in between round 6 and 7, 3 stitches away from the eye. Repeat the same thing on the other side with the other yarn tail. Lastly, I am going to add the hat. In my case, it is pretty snug and it is not coming off that easily, so I am choosing to keep it removable. But if you want, you can tack it down on either side using a couple of small stitches. And that's it. I hope you guys like this video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.